What's up, guys? It's Mike G here with the official UFC Poirier versus Hooker tips, picks, and predictions. I've been in the fight room the last week watching film on these fighters' last 2, 3, 4, 5 fights, so you guys don't have to, doing the dirty work to help you guys make the smart picks, telling you what fights to stay away from, who are the up-and-comers, who's hot, who's not hot, who you should be betting on, who you should be parlaying. I'm here helping you guys net cash every week. If you've been tailing me all year, you know we've been making money together. So if you appreciate what I'm doing, it would mean the world if you guys could drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. It helps the channel out a lot. It keeps me motivated. And like I said, I'm doing this completely for free, and I will continue doing this for free. So let's just stay frosty, boys, and let's make money.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is...
Okay, to start off the main event, we have Julian Erosa versus Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is undefeated in the MMA. He's 7-0. He's mostly unproven, but he's a huge favorite. He's minus 500 against Julian Erosa, who's lost his last 3. He did come in through Dana White's Contender Series, where he did get a couple knockouts, but other than that, he's been the definition of a journeyman. It's his 3rd stint in the UFC. I just think you can't lay minus 500 on an unproven guy. Sean Woodson is really, he's so fresh in the UFC. You don't know. Dude could come out there and get knocked down the first round. You just don't know. So for this one, I like parlaying Sean Woodson because I think he's really good, but I just don't know if you can put a whole minus 500 and feel really confident about it. Sean Woodson does have really good head movement. He's a very big featherweight. He's 6'2", 78-inch reach. So I think he's going to get this one done very easily. I just think minus 500 is very big odds to lay. And for this one, I recommend to stay away from completely.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is...
Okay, for the second fight of the night, we have Maurice Greene versus Gian Villante, which Gian Villante is trying to move up to the heavyweight division. Gian Villante has lost 4 of his last 6 in the lightweight division, so he's trying his odds in the heavyweight division. He's coming in against a much bigger opponent. Maurice Greene is 6'7" with an 82-inch reach versus Gian Villante 6'3", 76-inch reach. So it's a very big difference. I don't like the fight at all for Gian Villante. He did not come in looking good at all in his weigh-ins. If you guys have time, check in Gian Villante's weigh-ins. I don't like to call people out of shape and tubby, especially UFC fighters, but this guy did not look good on his transition to heavyweight. He looked out of shape. I don't think it's going to go well for him. Maurice Greene has lost his last 2 fights, but it was against good competition. He is primarily a counter striker, but he does fight good on his feet and on the ground. So I just think Maurice has more ways to get this done. I think you hammer it, you max bet it, put a unit or 2 on it, put as much as you can on Maurice Greene, the bigger fighter, the better fighter. I just think Maurice is going to get this done within 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is...
Okay, for the third fight of the main card, we have Daukaus versus Brendan Allen. Both these guys are young and up-and-coming fighters with phenomenal futures in front of them. Both are extremely big for the middleweight division. Daukaus started off as a heavyweight. He's 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. Brendan Allen 6'2" with a 77-inch reach, so a little bit bigger. Brendan Allen is on a 6-fight win streak. Daukaus is undefeated. He's 9-0 in his professional career, but this is his UFC debut. In my opinion, I think Brendan Allen is the better fighter. I think he has way more ways to get it done. He can get it done standing on the ground. He's just a very good fighter overall. I think laying minus 315 on Brendan Allen is a little steep because they're both really unproven fighters. So I really like over prop bet here again. I think that this fight completes 1 round is 100%. So betting yes completes 1 round at minus 170 is safe. Another one that I like is the over 1.5 at minus 135. And then I like Brendan Allen by decision. If you want to bet a fighter, take Brendan Allen by decision. You get plus 325 rather than staking so much at minus 315. You're getting a plus 325, so that's extremely good odds. I don't think he's going to be able to finish Daukaus. Daukaus gets a lot of his finishes on the ground himself, so he's very slippery on the ground. So I think it's just going to be a long fight, a long drawn-out fight where both these guys are trying to get the better of each other, and I think it's going the distance. So I think any over bets are good here, and and I think you hammer that all the way to the bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is...
Okay, for the co-main event of the night, we have Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall, in which should be an extremely entertaining fight. This is the fight I'm most excited for, even though the main event should be one of the fights of the year. I'm really excited to see Mike Perry and his girlfriend in his corner. This is going to be straight comedy and jokes. Mike Perry is an extreme favorite at minus 340 for good reason. Mickey Gall cannot stand and strike for anything. He lost to an almost 40-year-old Diego Sanchez, got knocked out by him. So I just don't trust Mickey Gall at all. For this, Mike Perry is an absolute nut, though. He's on a 2-fight lose streak, so you can't really trust him either. But I think just because of Mickey Gall's lack of striking, he can't fight on his feet at all. This guy is such a deficiency in striking that I think Mike Perry is just going to be able to dominate. I don't like putting all that money at minus 340 on Mike Perry because of how loose in the head he is, but I do like taking Mike Perry via KO at minus 145 or the under. The under is 1.5 rounds. I like going either way, whichever way you feel about it. If you like Mike Perry, if you think his antics are dope, if you think he's the real deal, then bet Mike Perry via knockout. I probably am. But if you don't, I don't see it going over 1.5 rounds either way it goes. Either Mickey Gall submits him in the first round or Mike Perry just completely knocks him out and obliterates him, which I think is going to happen, unfortunately, for Mickey Gall. But we'll see. I advise betting the Mike Perry via KO here. Okay, for the main event of the night, we have Dustin Diamond Poirier versus Dan the Handman Hooker. Both these guys are extremely hot. 1 or 2 wins for either of them will put them right into the lightweight title contention. Dan the Handman Hooker has won 7 of his last 8 and his last 3. He's fought legit guys. He's knocked out Gilbert Burns, Jim Miller, Paul Felder, Alaquinta, James Vick. He's beaten a lot of high-level competition. Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, his only loss in the last 4 years has come to Khabib, and he has beaten Murderer's Row of the lightweight division. He's beaten Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje. Both these guys do not like to take it to the ground. They like to stand there and box, and they like to go exchange blows. So for this one, I don't really know which way it's going to go. With 2 hot fighters who are extremely motivated to get back into the title contention, I usually like going with the underdog, but I'm going to stay away from this one. I'm going to advise going with the over 2.5 at minus 145. I'm betting both over 1.5 rounds and both over 2.5 rounds myself. I think that's an extremely safe play here. Both these guys like to feel their opponent out in the first round 2 rounds. They like to feel the opponent out. Dan likes to use his reach, keep his opponent at distance, see his timing, the speed of his opponent. Dustin likes to do the same thing with his shoulder rolls, his counter striking. So I think for the first round or 2, we're going to get a lot of touchy feeling, getting each other to know each other's pace and time and speed. And I think over 2.5 rounds is a very safe play here, and you roll with that one. Okay, on the Can't Lose Parlay, we have another one that's going to net you money this week. We have a plus 170 banger. We have Sean Woodson, Maurice Greene, and the over 1.5 rounds on Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker. These are all locks. Maurice Greene, I believe, is going to knock out Gian Villante. Gian Villante is moving up against a much bigger guy. Maurice Greene is a lock. Sean Woodson is another lock, fighting a guy who's on a skid, so you want to get him in at the minus 500, but you don't want to bet it singly because that's a huge risk, so you want to parlay it up. That's a lock for sure. And then over 1.5 on Hooker Poirier is another lock. You're going to get plus 170. So I'm max bet this parlay. This is free money. Whenever you can get a plus 170 parlay, that's free money. You always max bet it. So hammer that and stay frosty, boys.